Look how messed up this whole thing is on the Hamas and Palestine. First of all, they're saying that that the hospital got blown off. All right, if the hospital got blown off, there is a missile misfire. Okay, what media is not talking is that there's so much to talk. There's so much, right? Is that first of all, who in the world blow off multiple hospitals or what? How many hospital? One hospital or like multiple hospitals? How in the world, like the most sensitive place, like you can easily tell that if you were to blow that building up, there's a lot of people gonna die, and there's no arm. This is the easiest place to ruin many people's life. Why would you do that? And who would have done that? You know, there's so many questions will rise on this. And then this guy is saying this, and then their guy say blaming them. This is your decision this is you guys had to figure it out, right? But people are not dumb, obviously. Why in the world Hamas will blow off hospital of a country that's already struggling? You know, number one. And number two, that why would Hamas would do a misfire who can throw missile from so far away to Israel with the Iron Dome turned down? How you even misfire to something like that? You know, that's the if Israel is the one who's doing it, and Israel I was watching a news, and one of the military guys say, hey, we heard the radio signal that they're launching something. Okay, he was so confident. Okay, good, that's a very good thing, he said, one of the military commander. We heard them talking in a walkie-talkie that they're firing on a building, but there's a misfire. If somebody said that on the news, obviously he's gonna show us the radio in one day, or maybe in future they'll try to show that as a witness. But that radio signal could be anybody, you know. Just because Israel say is Hamas, and Hamas saying is Israel, you still don't know who's doing it. And first of all, why would Hamas would do that? Even though these people are terrible and they could be dangerous, they're very dangerous. Israel is also very dangerous, right? And how in the world you say that what do you call it? They were saying that they received a radio signal, okay? And this is the thing I want to say. Obviously, U.S. get involved in the say, hey, they're doing a research, they're doing investigations and all that stuff. Listen to this part. Well, investigation like that, you want to always collect the powder dust, the explosion dust, the missile particles and all that stuff. The very main question is gonna be, what type of weapon was that to blow up the hospital, right? Obviously, Israelis are not gonna be like stupid. They're not gonna be like, yo, look, this is an Israeli weapon. A broken piece. Okay, Israeli did this. If they would have do an investigation, they most likely might find Hamas weapon on that explosion, like, broken particles and all that stuff, debris, right? If that was a Hamas weapon particle you find, so what? Who? Hamas blow up the hospital? No. It could be anybody. Try to be technical here. Also try to think one thing. That few days ago, I also heard that Israeli just discovered a whole bunch of Hamas weapon on the missiles. Whole bunch of weapon they discovered, right? And really right next day, you hear this news. What? Like, Israeli have Hamas weapon from long time ago. I'm pretty sure they have it. Like they're like what, next to each other. They're like friends forever. Like just because there's a Hamas weapon on attacks doesn't mean that. And then always when there's any news that happened with Israel, okay, well, President Biden give an announcement. First of all, why Biden had to do an announcement on everything? I don't understand. Just because they're having war. I said that multiple times before. Like they're having their own war. Stay away from this. Israel is really powerful. Palestine got their backup. Let them figure it out. Maybe in future UN will get involved. But why US always have to get involved? Another thing is that at the beginning of the war, you saw US plane was coming in with their supply. You give a supply, okay. People were saying to stay away from this thing. The US still got involved, giving you a weapon supply. Now somebody blow up a hospital. Again, President Biden had to do an announcement. Announcement for what? This is not even your war. Is your friend's war. You cannot do nothing about it, right? And they were saying Pentagon's gonna do an investigation on that. I'm pretty sure you can check a recording at least for 2 to 3 days, or at least 30 days of recording of higher up, zoom in recording of where it got fired, how they look like with the intensive zoom plus a thermal scan that who's the one who really launched those attacks. Okay, I'm pretty sure Pentagon had the power. And let's just say if somehow they found out that it was not a Hamas, you think Pentagon just gonna say open, yo, Israel did this, my friend who did this, my friend who's the one who blew up the hospital? Like, Come on, common sense, guys. Like, use your thing. Don't listen to this media. Like, this is the thing that media is not covering. If Pentagon's gonna do investigation or other people, what they're gonna find what? They're not gonna find a U.S. weapon for sure. Okay, they obviously, if they do find it was Israeli, that would be a classified information. They're not gonna supposed to say that. You don't blow your friend up. You don't whistleblow about your friend that you're the one who blew up the hospital. No. And if it was, what are you gonna do? You're gonna bring them to international court? Obviously not, right? So always US have to get involved. What was the other thing I wanted to say? Israel, Hamas, we cover that part. Okay. US always get involved with all of this thing, and they always have to give an announcement. Something happens somewhere. Some other country had this attack. Okay, President Biden had to give an announcement. What he had to do with anything? I don't get it. Anytime anything terrible happened, like even before the war, when there was like this back and forth fight going on with Palestine and Israel, like, it was a continuous fight. It was going on. President Biden again have to respond, and he goes, he's calling for ceasefire. He don't want to pick the side. He don't want to pick Israel's side. He don't want to pick Palestine's side. It's like, okay, President Biden is, telling Netanyahu to ceasefire. That's all he can say. He's not gonna say, hey, listen, you're bad and you're good, or you're good, you're bad, both have to stop. No, he just called ceasefire. So this whole thing kind of like raised question, like why US president always respond is a very mild on this type of thing. They're friend related, like, and then this hospital thing blow off. Like, that was such a terrible thing happen, right? It's nasty, it's really disgusting. Biden had to give a speech, and then he just I don't know what he was saying on the mic, and he was just saying something, and it was just it was super sweet. It was like, what was that? Like, why did you even say, like, this is the time you should be saying, hey, Israel, you need to stop, or Palestine, you need to stop, or Hamas, you need to stop, right? He don't want to give he don't want to like give a deadline. He goes, okay, well, this is not fair, this is not, like, what? That's so messed up. If you try to be the leader of the whole world, how you answer like that? If that was Iran would have done that, they would be like, yo, Iran, you did this. Oh my God, that's so messed up. That is messed up. We're gonna cut down your deal, da 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 da. But when obviously there's a news is saying is Israel did something ever. I'm not saying about the hospital, we're still under investigation. When Israel or anything US related stuff, or their friends or their ally did something, they never confront that. They were like, yo, listen, you did this. That's not a part of the deal. They never said that in media. Like, what in the world? Like, what is this? What in the world is this? Like, and this is the stuff you guys need to start asking questions that, look, they never said that. You see the media saying that Israel did this thing. Israel went there, did this thing. They always say ceasefire. It's just like a Queen Elizabeth. I think, all I'm thinking is a Queen Elizabeth type of talk. It's like she never pick a side, People, the whole world loves her because she was never getting into politics so deep, and she would never pick somebody's side. She's just gonna be like, okay, I'm also loved by this side, I'm also loved by this side. But she don't have any enemy, I think. That's something like that. So it's kind of like one of those type of leader that they try to do. Like, but who's the one who's doing this. I mean, I'm not trying to pick anybody's side, but like, there's so much question. The whole world is picking Palestinian sides, right? Even though Palestinian did kind of like recently they did the attack, but the US and the Palestinian side are not talking about the part when at the beginning when it was going the ceasefire by Israel and Palestine, the ceasefire thingy, before that war, this war, they're not talking about that. Like, what in the world, right? They're not saying about how Palestinians' lands are getting taken away. They're not saying that UN set the Israel on Palestinian land. They're not mentioning any of these things. Sure, that's a very old day stuff, but all that recent anger, they're not saying that how Palestinians are left homeless. They're not saying any of these things. That is super blood boil when your house been taken away by somebody that wasn't over here back in the days, so long time ago, came here, kick out your thing. And then there's the water supply questions. Now I'm finding that Gaza's water supply, everything's come from Israel. Like, that is really messed up. If that was the case, I would not trust, because you don't know what they're going to be mixing on this water. You don't even know if the waters are pure. On a big city like that, Gaza's water coming from Israel, dude. Oh my goodness, that sounds scary to me. You don't know what is inside the water. You don't know what is all their supply. Like, that is crazy. That's like a big punishment. How in the world? How come there's no independent line? That is really like, now you're cutting down their power supply. Who did the blowing of the hospital? I cannot wait to find out this thing. And I think they should bring this to international court. All right. This is it for today. I have another videos coming later on. Peace.